Everyone. Hi everyone, it's Laura Milligan. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. We had a very nice weekend. It was beautiful and hot, and then we got some rain, so that's always good. But thank you so much for joining me today. If you are there, please say hello. And if you're watching on replay, thank you for watching the replay, and you can just type in replay. I appreciate all of you, and thank you so much for joining me. So today I am going to feature I'm making two cards from the Kindest Gnomes stamp set and the bundle, and it's adorable. I know there are a lot of people that love gnomes, and these cards are pretty cute. They do not disappoint with the cuteness factor. So if you are there, please say hi so I know that you're watching, and I always want to double check that I am in the right place. I hope that I am. There's Denise. Hi, Denise. Thank you for joining. And I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera view down and just get started. So here we go. All right. So these are the two cards that I made last week, and they featured the Perched in a Tree bundle, and gosh, I got so many nice comments and compliments on these two cards, and I do think they're beautiful. And it's very interesting that these come from the same bundle because they look so completely different. So this is the first card, and this features this really cute, beautiful, and I would not call this cute, I'd call it beautiful actually. It is the aspen tree dies, and this is something you can get free with a $100 purchase during celebration. And this card is going to Kathy Soak. I'm not sure if that's the right way to pronounce your name, but Kathy, when you see this, please message me your mailing address because I don't have that, and I will be happy to send this card to you. And then the next card goes to Denise, and Denise, you were the first one to sign in today, so you are the winner of this card, and please message me with your mailing address because I don't have that either. So those are new viewers as far as I know. So thank you for watching. There's some more people hopping on. Hi Cheryl, hi Becky, hi Colleen, hi Wendy. Thanks everyone for joining me. So I'm going to start first by just talking briefly about my bee box for August. Registration closes this Friday, and this class features the Kindest Gnome bundle, and there are different options that you can get. Some include the bundle. That's the I Want It All option. And then there's an option if you already own the bundle, and then there's also an option if you just want the PDF. So those are the options. I will link to this registration information when I'm done with my live today. But in the class, let me just show you, and I'll be using these today to make some different cards, not the class cards, but this is the cute stamp set and the coordinating dies. And with this class, you will also receive some of the adorable designer paper. You will receive the fine sparkle adhesive back gems. And I've actually included this brand new whimsical woodland embossing folder. I'm going to be using that today as well, but I decided to include that in the class because it's new and it just complements the cards in this class so very well. You'll get some of the wonderful snowflakes, which were a carryover from last year, which everybody really loved. And then you will get the products to make 3 different cards and a really cute gift card holder. So all of those will be included, and it's a super, super cute class. I know there are gnome lovers out there, right? But you have the option of adding on the bundle if you need it, or if not, you can just use something else that you already have. But registration for that, again, closes this Friday. So I'm going to set that aside. I actually better leave these out. So I'm going to do some things with these today. Okay. All right, so first thing, and you know what, I'm going to pull out, hold on one second, I've got to pull out the designer paper. So I want to talk about that a little bit. So this is just a sampling. This is actually 12 by 12 paper, but I just wanted to show you. I'm going to set these aside because I'm going to talk about those in a minute, but look how cute. I love the little deer and the bunny, the fox. Here's some cute little paper, little patterns, the mushrooms. And then the back, the B side, there's snowflakes, cute trees. I love those trees. More snowflakes. I think the colors in this are so soft and pretty. And then these two as well. But look how cute. This is like a little scene, right? You could do like a little, just a mini little card or something with just one of these little images. They're really cute. But I wanted to leave these out because I want to show you one of the great things about this bundle. Is that the dies, so we have, of course, the stamp set, all these 4 little gnomes, the little girl gnome. This is kind of funny, but I never really thought about girl gnomes, but apparently there are girl gnomes, right? And so Renee and I were laughing. We said maybe they're called gnomettes. I don't know. But so we have the gnomes and the gnomette, the little girl. But what's great about this designer paper is that we have dies that coordinate with these gnomes, which means it makes it so easy. Let's see, where is the other one? I think it's this one, yeah. So these 2 dies coordinate with the gnomes on this whole sheet. And this is imagine this is a 12 by 12 sheet, and it's just strip after strip, line after line of all these gnomes that you can just die cut. You don't have to stamp and color, although I do enjoy stamping and coloring with my Stampin' blends, but boy, this makes it so quick and easy. And then same thing with the mushroom. There is a whole sheet of paper that has these big little mushroom houses. Apparently that's where gnomes live. And so there's a whole sheet of those that you can cut out too. So it makes for really quick, easy, and super cute crafting. Makes it so fun. All right, so let me pull in my first card. Okay, so my first card, I'm going to lay out my pieces here. This is a fun fold, and let me just show you. I don't know if this, I thought this might be helpful to you if you can read it. I've taken a Post-it note and written the measurements for the pieces that we need for this card. So my card base is 8.5 by 4 1/4, scored at 5.5. The DSP is 3 by 4. We need a white piece, which is 4 by 5 1/4. Another white piece that is 3 1/4 by 4. I'm sorry, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then just 2 little pieces. This is Petal Pink and Poppy Parade. So I'm going to die cut those. Let me show you. Let's set these aside. Let me show you how to cut this piece. Let me get my trimmer here. And I'm not sure. Well, yeah, I think you can see it okay. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Myra. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Carol. Thank you all for joining me. So what I'm going to do, this card is cut 8.5 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to just use the width rather than the, normally we would use this. I'm just going to cut this way. To 4 1/4. Like that. And then I'm going to score this at 5.5. So I'm going to line this up right here. And I want to be careful. When I was getting ready for this morning, I used the wrong blade and I ended up cutting this. So you want to be sure to use your light gray blade. That is your scoring blade. So I'm just going to go across like that. So this is going to be a card. It's a standard card size, but it just has like a flap. So I guess you could call this a fun fold. So that's my base. And I'm going to take my bone folder and just give that a nice crisp fold. Okay, like that. Then I'm going to do some die cutting. And what I'm going to die cut first, let me bring in my little baby mini cut and emboss machine. And you know, like I've said before, this is the plate recipe, I guess, the sandwich that I like to use when I'm using die cuts with my mini cut and emboss. It's plate number 3, and then 2 cutting plates, which are plate number 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this up. So I'm going to do, I'm going to do a hat die, and then little feet. And this gnome that I'm making for this card is all die cuts. It's not cutting it from the designer paper or stamps. It's just a whole super cute die cut gnome that is included in the class. So then I'm going to use Petal Pink for his nose. And I need a piece of white. Let me grab some here. I know I have some. Here it is. Just need a little scrap of white. And I might be able to put all of these on here at once. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I can. We'll just squeeze those all in there. Okay. And so the white, I'm going to cut a beard. And I love the beard on this die because it actually adds some texture to it. And I'm just going to crank these through. See how easy it just goes right through? Okay, I'm going to close this up. There's some other really cute die components. There are mushrooms and stems and then like a little leafy type thing. Okay. So all these, look how easy they just pop right out. There's our feet and the hat. Okay. And I'm going to put these right back on my magnet sheet. Well, hi there, Charlie. Charlie just came in to say hello. All right, I'll set these aside. And I'll bring my mat back in and we can start putting this card together. So the only stamping that I did was just a little strip the words, a little strip of white, and I stamped the words. I used Poppy Parade ink. And you know, I like to put my words at an angle like that. Oh, and I inked up the wrong thing. Oh, where is my other? Here it is. I picked up the wrong stamp. I'm looking for my Warm Wishes stamp. And you know I like to put my words at a diagonal. For me, for some reason, it's easier to get them straight. So I'm just going to do that. Just like that. Looks pretty straight. Then I'm just going to take my paper snips. And I'm just going to angle this a little bit. Now my sample, I cut this pretty close to the words, but I think I'm going to leave this a little bit wider today, just because I can, I guess. All right, so let's start assembling this. So I think we'll do, let's do the gnome first. And look at the, I'm going to pull this up to the camera so you can see it, but look at the detail in the gnome. And what is very helpful when you're putting this together is that there's the spot marked off right where the nose goes, and then this little part here where you're going to adhere the hat. So it makes it really simple. And then here are the feet, and they even have extra detail. It looks like a little tie for a shoe, and then the nose. So I'm going to start by just attaching the nose. You could pop it up. It would be really cute, actually popped up. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to do that. I'll pop that nose up. So I'm going to start then. I'm just going to put this hat in place. The hat even has stitching around it. And what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue right on this beard section because I can see right where that hat will go. So I'm just going to get that lined up like that. Like that. And then let's get a dimensional. Probably a little one. So do you all like gnomes? I think there's a gnome group and there's a fairy group. I like both, and I will say these gnomes, the more I start working on them, I just kept liking them more and more. And then what I'm going to do is just glue his shoes into place. This guy has a very long beard, doesn't he? It covers up his whole body. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive along the top of the shoes, or yeah, pants, shoes, whatever, and pull that in place. Just like that. And there's our little gnome. Is he not cute? I think he's really cute. I'm going to set that aside for a minute and continue making my card. So I'm going to start. This is my 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 panel of white. And I'm going to attach my designer paper. And I chose the mushroom. I'm just going to attach that there. Don't you like the gnome? I think he's so cute. Thanks, Colleen. I agree. He is cute. Okay, and so then this is going to be attached here, but what you want to be careful of is to only put adhesive at the top, because if you put it around the bottom on the back here, then your card won't open. So I'm just going to put adhesive towards the top of this. I'll just go along about this inch like that. Put it about right there. Like that. I'm just centering it as best I can. Whoops, slipped a little. Oh. Okay, there we go. Give that a press. And then for the inside, I have a 4 by 5 1/4, which I'm just going to adhere. And that's just centered. And you know, since I've already inked this up, this says Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I've already inked this up in Poppy Parade. I'm going to ink it up again and just stamp that right there on the inside of my card. And then we just need to attach our words. I'm going to put those about right there, and then our gnome is going to go there like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little adhesive on my words. Just put that about right there, like that. And then I'm just going to attach this, and you know what, I had ribbon, I don't know, excuse my reach here. I put this away because I forgot I was using, this ribbon is the Balmy Blue. It's a stripe. It is really, really nice ribbon. I have to tell you, I hate to say it, but it is currently unavailable. It's going to be available again towards the end of September, I believe. But what I'm going to do is just fold this and cut this seam there like that. And then it won't be so bulky. So I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm going to attach these just to the back of my gnome like that, just to add a little bit extra something, right? And I'm going to take my glue dots, and I will attach these with glue dots. Whoops. There's one. Looks like I missed a few there. And then here's the other. I'm going to put another one on the back side of this. And I'll just put these together like that. And I'll just put that like that. And then I'm going to pop up our gnome with dimensionals. And for this I can use my regular size. I'm going to put quite a few dimensionals on there. I'll just pull those off. This is a really quick, easy, fun fold to make. You know, sometimes it's fun to just switch out a card layout from the traditional one, just to switch things up a bit. So I'm going to put our gnome right there. And then I'm just going to add one of these fine sparkle adhesive back gems. So let me grab those. These are part of the class, but they're also a thank you gift that I'm giving this month for anyone that places an online order of $50 or more. So you will get, as a thank you from me, not only a hand-stamped card, but a pack of these gems for free as just a little added thank you. So there's our card. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Isn't it cute? It's just a fun, quick, easy card fold. Here is the original one with it's just a little bit different. I used the Calypso coral paper instead of the Poppy Parade. Both are super cute. So that is my first card for today. So let me know what you think. Show me some love. Give me some hearts. Give me some likes. I appreciate that. It encourages me when I'm sitting here all by myself talking to you. So thank you for the love and hearts. I'm going to go ahead and clean off my stamps real quick, because now I'm actually using the same stamp. All right. I'm using black ink on my next card. This is a more traditional, although I guess this has a fun fold as well. So what I'm going to do, let's see, so let me get out my packet. I actually made 2 of these. Okay, so I have my next card, and I've written down the measurements again. I thought that might be helpful to you. Let me know what you think. But this is a piece of designer paper, 1 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I have a little panel for my words, my basic card base, which is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and then a piece that is 3 by 5 1/2, and I have embossed this with this whimsical tree embossing folder. It just seems to pair so well with these cute whimsical gnomes. And then I have die cut from the designer paper a mushroom. And then this little guy, and look how cute this guy has super long eyelashes, and they're so detailed. They didn't miss a thing when they were designing these cute guys. So this card, I'm going to start with just a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 card base. And I'm going to take my paper trimmer again and just cut 1 inch from the front flap. So it's going to end up being, so I just take my regular 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I'm just going to line this up and cut 1 inch off the flap. This is another really easy way to change up the front of your card or change out your layout. Okay, and then this has already been scored at 4 1/4. This is basic white thick cardstock. I have this little piece which I'll save for something else. Okay, so I'm going to start, just fold this. So it's going to have a small flap on the front. And I'm going to take a little strip, my designer paper, which is 1 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to attach that to the inside panel. Did you all know that gnomes lived in mushrooms? I did not know that. I thought that was pretty cool. I love the little mushroom houses. So this one is pretty much a tone-on-tone, a monochromatic card. I'm using all blues all the way. And the next panel that I will attach is, let me check the measurement, 3 inches by 5 1/4. And like I said, I've embossed this with the Whimsical Woodland, I believe it's called. Hold on. Yeah, Whimsical Woodland 3D embossing folder. I just think it's super cute. I hope you can see If the camera will focus on that, maybe you can see the detail. Okay, so I'm going to attach this, and I'm going to be pretty generous with the glue on this. Anytime I'm attaching a panel that has texture, I want to be a little more generous with the glue, just to make sure it holds in place. That's going to be just centered right there. And I think it's looking pretty cute already. I love this layout. Okay, then I'm going to take my mushroom and I'm going to add this little gnome. I'm going to attach the mushroom just flat, and then I'll pop up the gnome. Let's put that about right there. Give that a quick press. And then I'm going to add my gnome, and like I said, I'm going to grab my dimensionals and pop him up. And he's just going to be here right in front of his house, like that. And then I wanted to dress him up a little bit. Well, first I'm going to do the words. So I have this little scrap of basic white, and I'm just going to do the warm wishes again. But like I said, this time I'm going to do it in the Memento Black. Just put that about right there. Okay. And I'm going to just trim this pretty close to the words. And I'm going to have him, I'm going to put this just so that it's resting right in the hand of the gnome, so it almost looks like he's just holding it. And I'll just cut close to this on the bottom as well. So Celebration is coming to an end. It ends the end of August. I can't believe we're getting to that point. It is almost the end of August. And don't forget about the additional products that have been added this month. They added some really great things, some dies, well, like the one I used last week, and there's some embossing folders that you can get for free with a qualifying purchase. And I'm just going to tuck this kind of like this so that it looks like he's holding the little warm wishes greeting. So I'm going to put some glue on here. Okay. I'll just tuck that under there like that. Isn't that cute? Thought that was kind of fun. So just like that. And then I wanted to dress him up a little bit. So I'm going to use my basic white twine. This is from the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. And I'm going to make a bow. And I'm just going to decorate his hat. Because why not? If you're a gnome, why not have a fancy hat, right? Okay, so I'm going to get my glue dots. And pick one up there. And I'll just rest that right on the end of his hat because he is feeling fancy and festive, right? And then I thought it would be fun to, of course, add some gems. And again, these are the Fine Sparkle Adhesive Back Gems. And like I said, this is a thank you gift that I'm giving to anyone that places an order with me this month, an online order of $50 or more. I will send you one of these along with your thank you card. I also offer what I call freebies, and they are my frequent buyer rewards, and it's just a way for me to thank people that have shopped with me. You can accumulate bees, and once you get 10 bees, you get $40 in product of your choice. So that is very popular. My customers love that, and it makes me happy to thank those people that support my business so much. So, all right, and I'm just adding some more right there like that. Okay, and so there is my first card, or my second card, I'm sorry. The first one went together really quickly, didn't it? So here's this super cute little gnome, and I have taken, I'm always about the envelopes, and so I use the embossing folder. Let's see if I can catch that in the light. There we go. And emboss the flap of this card with the Whimsical Woodland embossing folder so that it coordinates. But look how cute. Isn't that cute? It just makes me smile. And then I did another one. I just wanted to show you because I didn't want the gnomette, the girl, to be left out. So I made a card, the same layout, but you can see how different they look. So I've just switched up the colors. This one has a Poppy Parade card base and the little gnomette and the mushroom, and I used the mushroom paper on the inside. Now this one, because it wasn't a white card base, I just added a panel of basic white, which was 4 by 5 1/4, just to line the inside, and then I dressed it up with this little strip of mushroom paper. So those are the cards. So let me bring the other one in here as well. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way. Okay, there's that one. And then here's this one. So there are 3 super cute gnome cards. Let me know what you think. Are you a gnome lover? It seems like a lot of people are. Give me your thoughts. Let me know. Give me some love. And I love seeing those hearts and likes and thumbs up. And if you are watching on replay, be sure to say that. And if you're on YouTube, I would encourage you to like my page and also to subscribe to my channel, because I am doing videos every week and I would love to share them with you. So, okay, I'm just going to sign off now. I thank you all for joining me. Yeah, so which is your favorite? I saw somebody commented the blue is their favorite. So here are the 2 with just a little inch cut off the front flap, and then this is the one that uses the gnome dies to create the gnome. Let me know which one you like the best. And if you're interested in my B-Box for August featuring the gnome set, registration closes Friday. I'm going to, like I said, link up the registration information so that you can reach out and get registered. The class is super cute. I know you will love it and not be disappointed. And thank you so much for joining me today. So people are saying, okay, so a lot of people like the blue one. Someone likes the Poppy Parade. Somebody likes the girl card. But it's a hard choice, right? I agree. I think they're all pretty cute. Okay, so, and Kathy says, you have the heart. I'm not a gnome fan, but love the cards and special effects. Yes, and I think I'm a big fairy lover. Like I have a fairy garden and I have a cute little collection of little garden fairies that I put out in my fairy garden. And I'm more that than gnomes, but I will say after working with these and the ease of making these cute cards, these gnomes have now found a place in my heart. So I hope that is the same for you. And so thank you so much for joining me. I will be back again next Monday. I'm not sure what I'm going to be featuring then, but I'll get it figured out between now and then. And as always, I'm always so grateful for your support. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have time to be creative today. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.